Here's 5 things most people don't know about Masjid Al-Aqsa.
Number 1. Masjid Al-Aqsa has its very own museum, which is around 100 years old. And inside you'll find Salahuddin Al-Ayyubi's original mimbar and a huge brass crescent which once crowned the Dome of the Rock. Number 2. The Qibli Masjid inside the Aqsa complex was once double its size, but an earthquake caused severe damage to it around 1,000 years ago. Luckily, you can still see the foundations of the columns where it once stood. Number 3. The Dome of the Rock features the world's earliest ever existing remnants of written Islamic inscription in a building. The most important surviving primary text is the long mosaic inscription running around the interior. Number 4. Masjid Al-Aqsa is not just one building or structure. It's a complex and it's huge. Inside you'll find musallas, fountains, a courtyard, platforms and 4 minarets. And number 5, this right here is the mihrab of Salahuddin Al-Ayyubi in the Qibli Masjid, and it is the only thing of his that remains in Masjid Al-Aqsa, and it also mentions his actual name, which was Yusuf.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you so much. History, history. How come? How did we get here? History. They show you pictures, they show you videos, history. How did we get here? How did my bishop get here? How did my Geo get here? How did what we chose to be our religion get here? History. How did everything come together? What we see today? How did worshiping Allah turn to disco? How did place of worshiping God turn to dancing and shaking and twerking? How did it come? What is the history? At least that's the history of that masjid, the history. So when we talk about the history, how do we get here? Can we think, revise back, how did we get here? How come? How come every small child owns a church? Everybody owns a big church. Everybody is advertising picture. This one is my church. How come? How did we get here? I use this video I played you this morning as a point of contact. History. You can see when earthquake fell, how it affected the slab, how it cracked the floor. History. How did we get here? How did we suddenly, somebody that from school, from university day, from secondary school day, how did we get here? Suddenly they become very big in the name of Jesus. How did we get here? That is the question this morning. History. Give me a little history of the little history of your places of worship. Can you just give me a little history? Or is it because you don't just like what this is doing and you opened your own? You see, one thing with Islam is that they believe in one thing. They all worship, they all go to Hajj, they all worship the same way. Any mosque you enter, they are worshiping the same way. They are Muslims. You understand? Show me your history. Give me your history. How did we get here? By the time we start thinking about how we get here, you will understand what I'm doing here. Thank you for listening. See you on my next video. Thank you.